You're listening to Comic Reflections, episode 156. I'm your host, Nicholas Prom.
And I'm Jeff Barnard, an alien cosmic entity who rapes Swamp Thing and has his kids.
Okay, stuff just happened there. Comic Reflections is brought to you by Rhymes with Geek. You can find our show, plus many other cool podcasts like the all-new Anti-Fanboy, Feed It Comics, and Superhero Speak at rhymeswithgeek.com. Comic Reflections is also available on backissueheroes.com, the home of classic comics on the web. And if you enjoy the show, please subscribe to us on either iTunes or Stitcher.
All right. Good show today, I think.
Oh, I should hope so.
Yeah.
Boy, you just opened with a major spoiler.
Yeah.
Well, from a comic from 30 years ago.
Yeah.
Right. Yes, let's begin with Swamp Thing number 20. The story in this issue is called The Mirror Monster. It was written by Jerry Conway with beautiful art by Nestor Redondo.
Indeed. First splash panel, we have Swamp Thing drawn in the swamp. I didn't even notice it the first time. I was looking at it again. Just gorgeous work. All right, we have an old Indian who's one of those stereotypes, and they're always wise and knows everything. And
You mean all Indians aren't like that?
Yeah.
Okay.
Just the old ones.
Right.
So they have the Grotto of Eternal Youth, which has made the Indian is actually 180 years old. His tribe was killed by drunken white men, and so he's just been hanging out. He's got some good threads, so I like that.
Yeah.
So, all right, so he's with the Swamp Thing, but is it the Swamp Thing or is it the other Swamp Thing?
What? All right, this is part 2 of a two-part story, and there's like a duplicate of Swamp Thing that was formed from Swamp Thing got his arm cut off, and a duplicate grew, but it doesn't have his soul.
Right.
So.
And it doesn't think inside his head like Swamp Thing does.
Right.
So that's how you know. So.
Right.
Okay, so the real Swamp Thing is drawn to somewhere. So where is that somewhere? There's it's another secret government base built in a swamp. They're always doing that, don't they know? They learn their lesson. He meets some bikers, and that's always fun.
Why would you build a secret government base in a swamp? I mean, haven't they ever heard of dry rot?
True. Yeah.
Yeah. Anyway.
But bikers are always fun, especially when the crap beat up by a superhero.
Or a monster.
Swamp Thing's a superhero, isn't he?
He's a super monster.
Yeah, monsters are evil, though. Swamp Thing is not evil. Maybe is a Hulk a monster or a superhero?
Yes, Hulk is a monster and a superhero.
Yeah.
So,
I'm talking about classic green or gray. No.
Either one.
Or, well, when he's works, Fix-It, he's not a monster. He's a superhero.
Mr. Fix-It. Yeah, Joe Fix-It is not exactly a good guy. It's more of a villainous Hulk.
But he's not a monster. Monsters are not sentient. I guess.
Yeah, they can be.
I guess vampires are too. Oh well. So
whatever Swamp Thing is.
Yeah, he kicks some.
He's an Earth elemental, is what he really is.
Mm-hmm.
So.
Yeah, we don't know what the government's up to in the swamps, but it's got to be bad. So.
Right.
So they can't get rid of this big rock, which and then I guess the swamps are full of big rocks, so they got to blow it up. So it takes them 8 minutes to set a charge.
Mm-hmm.
I thought it'd be a whole lot more because time needed to blow up something because dynamite's dangerous. You got to check everything and all that.
Dynamite is dangerous.
Yeah, I always wanted some.
He always wanted some. That's funny.
But okay, the bikers go to the town and tell people they saw a monster, and then all of a sudden the explosion happens, and the explosion destroys a fountain of youth. Heavy.
Word.
Yeah. Okay, so now the Indian is really mad, so he sends the
Duplicate Swamp Thing.
Yeah, to attack all
Whitey.
white people.
Yeah. Kill Whitey. I want to look at a house ad that we've got here, advertising Blitz, 3 new titles that DC was putting out at the time. Blitzkrieg, Hercules Unchained, and The Warlord. Blitzkrieg and Hercules didn't last long, but The Warlord was became one of the biggest hits at DC in the early 80s.
Mm-hmm.
We will have issues of all of these to look at soon.
Cool. Yeah, the problem with Blitzkrieg was they should have done World War II from the German perspective and exactly like DC's regular comics. But they had to put in the Holocaust and blah, 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 blah. So,
yeah. You've read Blitzkrieg.
Yeah.
Oh.
And it's okay, but you knew what's going to happen. There was no surprises. So
Right. And it didn't last long either.
Mm-mm.
So, but anyway, Swamp Thing.
Meet Swamp Thing.
What?
And so they start fighting. I'll put my money on Swamp Thing.
Hey, good. Yeah, that's a good bet, I think.
Yeah. All right, so the townspeople beat up the Indian. And they kill him. Man, there's a huge fight. Very well drawn. Really cool.
Yeah.
And,
Swamp Thing beats the other Swamp Thing, right?
Yeah. So, 2 characters, Matt Cable and Bolt, are going to the town.
Mm-hmm.
And they're with the government stuff.
Mm-hmm. And Matt Cable is kind of remember the reporter that hounded the Hulk on the TV show?
Mm-hmm.
McGee? Well, Matt Cable is kind of that role in Swamp Thing. Mm-hmm. And there's also Abigail Arcane, who is his love interest, who is sort of Swamp Thing's love interest, and stuff. So, but yeah.
Yeah. So, the fake Swamp Thing goes to where the Indian is as he's dying.
Mm-hmm.
And then someone throws a grenade and kills him. That's kind of an easy kill. And
right.
No one's threw a grenade at Swamp Thing before. That's something I would think about.
Well, right. But because it's not the real Swamp Thing, he's just a simulacrum of the real Swamp Thing, who has got magic and stuff inside him.
Okay. Right. Yeah. This was a above average, pretty good comic. And I like Swamp Thing. But next week, here comes weirdness.
Right. Now we fast forward big time to this is an oddball issue even within this is a strange issue, and it's not indicative of the entirety of Alan Moore's run on Swamp Thing, but it's very esoteric and goofy. But let's talk about it. It's Saga of the Swamp Thing number 60, and the story is Loving the Alien, written by Alan Moore, with really bizarre art by John Totalben.
Yeah. I was reading about this, someone said that it's no wonder he lost his eyesight. His eyesight failed.
Totalben?
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
But it's it's bad. I mean, he's not blind on things, but it's bad because it's super gorgeous and really confusing, and there's no, it's not a comic book like we think comic books are.
Right. It's the 80s, and it's experimental, and it's definitely pushing boundaries of what you can do within a comic, and I think it succeeds. Because it was a great read. Swamp Thing is in space on a journey to a planet of beings that are sentient plant life, and on the way there he encounters this alien consciousness, and it's a machine entity, and it has been waiting for millennia to find something it could mate with, that it could reproduce with, and it finds that in Swamp Thing, and the Swamp Thing goes through such a strange ordeal in this issue. It's really bizarre.
Yeah, and lots of words. It's kind of hard to get. Written from the space alien entity
that perspective, yeah. There is a house ad I want to talk about, advertising the Suicide Squad. Now this is post-crisis, very early in that. I think this is around 1987. Or so, and the Suicide Squad. And I only mention it because Suicide Squad, the movie's been announced, and they've also been on the Arrow TV show, or a version of them have been. So, So yeah.
Yeah, Captain Boomerang, Enchantress, Deadshot, Mind Boggler, Bronze Tiger, and Plastique.
Yeah. Plastique has been on the Flash show.
Mm-hmm.
Bronze Tiger has been on Arrow. Deadshot was on Arrow, and Captain Boomerang was on that Flash and Arrow team up stuff. It's great.
I've not seen Flash yet.
Oh, it's really
I think
fun.
I've seen one Arrow, but I didn't see any super villains on it. But
No, they're there.
no, it was okay. So,
Yeah.
well, it's kind of a golden age of comic books on TV now.
Oh yeah, and there's more to come. The Teen Titans show has been announced, and that's coming. So that's
Yeah.
gonna be on TNT.
Wake me when they do the Legion.
Man,
Wouldn't that be cool?
oh man, that'd be a great show to do on HBO or something. The
Legion
Legion.
of Superheroes?
Yeah, why not? Because they have a budget. That's
Oh,
why.
I see.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Okay, the new Flash.
Yeah, because post crisis, Wally West, the Kid Flash, has taken up the mantle. There's a
Yeah.
house ad for that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
The costume's the same, but everything's different.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah.
This going back to the comic book. First time I seen sperm in a comic book.
But it's robot space sperm.
Yeah. It's cool. It's not a drawn comic book. It's
Done with like collage stuff.
and Xeroxing and all kinds of stuff. And there is some drawing, but it's really
It's definitely mixed media
mhm,
kind of art
very
style
arresting. Each thing could have been a great,
poster.
yeah,
Yeah.
fantastic.
Yeah. So yeah.
All right. Cool. All right, we go from sublime to the crappy.
Oh boy, you mean you didn't like Swing with Scooter number 6?
Oh, man.
The funny thing about this is, okay, it's a teenage comic,
Mhm.
and this is, DC is so square, but at this time, they're kind of shifting in the latter half of the 60s to trying to be hip,
Mhm.
or hip with the teenage crowd. Their top of their covers have all the go-go checks,
Yeah.
and they've got this beatnik mod comic book.
Mhm.
And for the first dozen issues, it kind of runs like this before it becomes an Archie clone.
Yeah. Although it started off as a somewhat disguised Archie clone, then
Yeah.
it became just an Archie
Yeah.
clone. Even the titles looked like Archie.
Oh yeah. I found it amusing, but I found the frustrating thing is they're so heavy on the slang and the cool cat daddy-o lingo and nicknames. I'm like, who are the names of these characters?
I know I had to
It's
look
hard-
them up because
Yeah.
they're really difficult. And okay, can I tell you what irritating things are?
Yes.
Look at this. All right, irritating thing number one. A stereotypical military guy is in charge of school, and it's just utterly ridiculous. He wants a heroic statue. I don't think in the 60s people put up heroic military statues anymore. It just-
Well, it's kind of like he's old-timey,
Right.
old-fashioned kind of thing.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, by the way, this lead story is called Hamlet and Eggs, and it was written by Jack Miller and Barbara Friedlander, with art by Joe Orlando, pencils, and Mike Esposito, inking.
Yeah.
And they wrote all 3 of the stories in this issue. So
Mhm. Who was the Joe Orlando did EC horror comics.
yes, he did. He was also the editor at DC for all of their ghost and mystery titles.
What's he doing here? I don't know. It's sort of,
it-
I guess people do in comic book
You do different
artists. They
things.
do everything. So,
Sure.
I wonder what they want to do most.
I mean, geez, you think Joe Orlando wanted to do nothing but horror comics his whole career?
He may if he really liked horror comics.
Yeah.
But yeah.
But yeah, I
Okay.
mean, because he was the EC man, of course they put him as the editor of like House of Mystery and House of Secrets
Right,
and stuff.
okay.
But anyway,
Irritating thing number two. So the stereotypical German drama teacher. IT3, let's put a show on to make the statue. So they're going to put on Hamlet. And it's just sort of, man, that was old 1940s. Oh, God. Let's see. Irritating thing number 4, fat guy who rhymes. And he's super rich, too. So, let's see, 5, a fake Betty and Veronica feud. They're almost exactly like
Mm.
Betty and Veronica. the oh-so-hip Mod Lingo, which is hilariously fake and bad because it's written by middle-aged people.
Well, yeah.
Yeah, Super Crisis of no one buying the tickets to the play because it's turning out really bad. People do not go see school plays because they're good. They go to see them because they know somebody's in the play.
Yeah.
This is in the real world.
I mean, this comic is an example of DC just being so out of touch, and so square, and
yeah.
Let's
see next one. Let's make it a musical. Boo. Although the sign they have making it into a musical comedy is pretty fun. Although one end of the sign is in a Jeep and the other one is in Scooter, and which is that can't happen.
Okay.
Yeah. Let's see. It's a ripoff of the producers. Let's see. Play goes off badly, and then it's a hit. That's the ripoff of the producers. Oh, mod scene's already passé by this time. I didn't know. I was irritated by the bad girl calling the good girl Chocolate Chip, but her name is Cookie. So.
Oh, brother, yeah.
Let's see. There's a stupid gypsy coin, and someone calls someone Turtle Toes.
Were we going to talk about these stories, really, or are you just going to you're going to list off just all these irritating things?
Yes, okay.
All right.
I mean, does anybody know? Does anyone care about Scooter? No.
What if we were alienating the legions of Swing with Scooter fans out there?
Sleep well at night. Alienating the Scooter fans. All right. The weird vampire guy. And it's Malibu, the blonde-haired guy. And he says, pass the ketchup, baby, at an ice cream shop. And he puts ketchup on his ice cream. Ugh. And then there's all these disasters going on, and he doesn't care. So they think he's a vampire. Like in Herman Munster. And he looks like Ilya, what's his name?
I don't know. Oh, Ilya Kuryakin?
Yep, because, I don't know. Oh, God. Okay. Major Otis. Okay, the play's a hit, so they make the statue, and it's Major Otis, the stereotypical military guy, retreating in fear from a defeat. Like, you're commissioning a statue and you don't look at it.
Yeah, there are things. There are things.
Oh, the mod lingo. Oh. The fat German broad wears curlers to work. Okay. There's a Maynard G. Krebs ripoff. The G stands for Walter.
I don't know who Maynard G. Krebs is.
Oh, it's from the Dobie Gillis show. It's fantastic. And it was Bob Denver who was Gilligan.
Right, so, I know about that, and I know he was a beatnik on there.
Yeah.
The Many Lives of, or the Loves of Dobie Gillis, right?
Yeah, and he's hilarious in it. It's a good show. Yeah. But okay, well that's all my rants. Oh God.
So you didn't like this, I think.
I was interested in it. It's not horrible. It's a bad Archie.
Yeah.
And all.
Well, it's so heavy-handed in trying to do this one thing, the mod thing, that it became indecipherable.
Right.
Like it could be kind of humorous in being an Archie copycat. And I think when they shifted later, it probably worked a little better. Just like, let's just be honest and just be an Archie copy.
Mm-hmm. And it lasts until 71. From 66 to 71, it's not a bad run.
No, it's not a bad run at all.
Yeah, ill-deserved. They advertise this everywhere. And they put, Superman comes in a scooter, comics, Batman, everybody. And so,
sure.
But, yeah... I don't know. Sometimes you can pander to kids, sometimes you can't. I'm not sure what.
I think this is pandering, and it clearly worked because the series lasted a while. But, it kind of left me a bit cold.
Yeah.
If I had read several issues, I might have gotten a better feel for it.
I wouldn't mind reading some more, but it's kind of. Yeah.
So that was The Imitator. Now let's read the genuine article. It's some Archie comics. We have Laugh number 213 and
LAFF.
Laugh.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, I'll be darned. Okay, they spelled it correctly. Usually it's spelled Laff in these type of situations.
Well,
Okay. All right. Good for Archie.
I guess the Goldwater Corporation really wanted to, because that's, well, not the Goldwater. It's something or other Goldwater, who was the founder of Archie Comics.
Oh.
And I'm blowing the joke.
Yeah, he did. But that's okay.
Dang it.
It's a good try.
Thanks, Jeff.
But, this coming from someone who blows a lot of jokes. So.
Yeah. So I have almost no credits for this issue. I couldn't. It's not indexed on comics.org. So, but the lead story is called Research. What's Archie up to in this?
He's running away from Mr. Weatherby, and he beat up one guy in a Beatles haircut, and he pretends he's the janitor, and he hides in the
Svensson, the
furnace.
janitor.
And I think that they. Well, the joke. No, we don't know the joke because the page is missing.
Oh yeah, that happens.
Yeah. It's probably something, but hey, we need you to be in the parade or something like that. So
Right, because he thought Mr. Weatherby was after him because he was in trouble for
But
something.
It's kind of oddly drawn or something. Something's off a little bit, but he's real mean in this. And
Archie?
yeah,
Oh, he is sometimes.
mhm,
It depends.
yeah. Oh, what's his name? Jack Kelly. This advertisement.
There's an advertisement for it's Tiger Boy, and it's like a bicycle ad, and it's Jack Davis.
Davis. Sorry. Okay.
You're mixing Walt Kelly and
Yeah.
Jack Davis.
Fantastic.
Although, boy, I'd love to look at some Walt Kelly stuff, some Pogo. I've read some of his Golden Age stuff that was not Pogo. It was like about a sailor or something. It's pretty good.
Mm-hmm.
So, but here's a backup story, one of several. It's called Archie, the Dreamer.
Oh. Okay, two worst villains in history, Veronica and Reginald, are talking about how great they are because one of their friends lit a fire with a $50 bill, which was probably at the time a $500 bill.
Yeah.
And they're making fun of poor people, and it's just really. So Archie gets really mad, and he daydreams about having a duel with Reggie and beating the crap out of him, and then getting super rich and sending Veronica and her father to the poorhouse.
Wow, that's pretty vindictive.
Yeah. Oh, although I don't blame him for having those daydreams. Like, mine would be a lot more violent.
Okay.
So I would have Reggie's head on a silver platter.
Wow.
Showing it to the world. He is a jerk. And
He is a super jerk.
Is not much better. So.
She's not a nice girl, no.
So she just treats Archie mean, and she runs back, and so Archie says, I'm done with her, I want to destroy them. And here comes Veronica, I need some help. So Jughead is showing a fantasy scene of Queen Veronica walking upon Archie in a puddle of water. So
Wow.
okay.
And that's it. So we've got a little a short story with Little Jinx, and I actually have some credits for this one.
Mm-hmm.
This was written and drawn by Joe Edwards, and this story is called Get the Picture. What's going on with Little Jinx here?
You don't know what's going on. They go around town and says, well, is it here? No, we can't do this one. No, not this one. So what are they talking about? They come back home, and their mother asks, oh, did you see a movie? He says, no, we went all over town, but there's all for mature audiences only. But don't bump.
Oh, man.
Yeah. Dear Hollywood, don't you like children? Yeah.
No. So I think...
There's a great pinup. And I don't know why it's really struck. I love Betty.
Yeah.
She is fixing her motorcycle, a Gorlick 280. What a great name for a motorcycle.
Yeah.
And she's all messed up, and her mother yells, Betty, Archie's coming over right now. He doesn't care how you look. And she's horrified.
Because she's covered in grease and stuff. Yeah. So, but there's one last story in this issue, and it's called Titian of the Tie World.
Yeah. Or it might be Titian. I'm not sure. I've heard both.
The painter?
Yeah.
Titian.
Is it?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. So Reggie has a stupid idea of making ties with the answers of the test on them. And,
that is such a dumb idea.
And he has, Martha Washington is, riding a surfboard, pretty cool. The rest of that, this looks kind of old or something. They don't look. I don't know. Was there credits on this one?
What do you mean? No, on the story, no. Are you looking for?
The way is they're drawn. It looks like they're drawn differently on
Hand
this.
me this. Look, this is back in '68.
Yeah.
So Archie has a typical house style, but it has evolved.
Mm-hmm.
So.
What do you call it that?
Oh my gosh.
No, just kidding.
Okay.
So Moose buys a tie because he's bad at history. So Reggie says, just write it down like it's written. And Moose comes in with a T-shirt and a tie, and he sits down and he records on the answers what he sees on a tie, but they're upside down, though.
So he gets wrong.
Yeah.
And he gets mad. And Miss Grundy, does she kind of catch on?
She knows it's Reggie.
Yeah.
Because Reggie signed the tie. Ha ha.
Yeah, what a dope.
Yeah, so Moose is going to kick Reggie's butt, and that's hilarious. So he's running away, dresses like an old woman, and he hides in a trash can. Yeah.
Very satisfying.
Yeah. No, satisfying would be some pounding.
Well, okay.
Reginald is a bad guy, but he's the worst frenemy of all time.
Reggie Mantle is a total jerk.
And Veronica's a total jerk, too.
She is.
Yeah.
But she's also a total babe.
That doesn't make up for it.
I know, but, when you're a young man, you overlook a lot of character flaws.
Yeah.
When if they're
and vice versa, I'm sure of it. So.
Yeah.
All right.
So.
Well, pretty cool. We went all over the place this time.
We sure did. Into outer space, into Riverdale, in the
the
swamp.
Yeah. Okay. See you in the funny papers.